Hey, it's Crafty Owl. Let's make this adorable book sleeve. You're going to need some batting, your outer fabric, your lining, and fabric for your ties. I'm going to start with my ties. I'm going to fold them hot dog style and just pin along the edge. And now I'm going to mark up from one of the edges on the fold 2 inches and do a diagonal line. We're going to start at the opened raw edge and begin with the back stitch. And when you get to your point, you want to leave your needle in the fabric, lift your presser foot and turn and sew on that marking we made. And we're going to end it with the back stitch. Now we want to trim any excess, and I'm leaving about 1/4 inch away from my stitches and clip in that corner. Now once you have that, we're going to turn our pieces right way. There's several methods of doing this. This is just what I do. And you want to make sure you poke out your corners nice and crisp. Iron them and set those aside. Next, we're going to grab our batting and our outer pieces. So you want to just lay those on there and run a couple of stitches to top stitch it. Keep in mind though, the more quilt lines you do, the smaller your fabric is going to get. And I only did about 4 quilt lines per piece. And I like to set my stitches with an iron. Now trim any excess batting away. Now take your pieces and put them pretty side to pretty side, and we're going to leave an opening on the long edge on one side. So we're clipping around 3 of our edges. We're going to begin on one of our short sides with a back stitch and just pivot your fabric and turn it and continue on until you get to the other side. Remember to leave one of the long edges open. Clip your corners to lessen the bulk. Now take your lining fabric and we're going to put it pretty side to pretty side. We're going to leave an opening in our lining to turn our project through later. Clip along 3 sides. Remember to leave an opening in the bottom of your lining. And as always, we're going to begin with the back stitch. At my openings, I'm also going to back stitch just so those stitches don't come undone later. Clip your corners. Set those aside and grab your bow pieces or your tie pieces. And we're going to just do a top stitch along the sides of both of our pieces. Take your lining and we're going to turn it the right side out. Now we're going to put our lining inside of our outer piece. The pretty sides of your fabrics should be touching each other. Now nest your seams, which is making sure your seams are going the opposite directions. That just helps lessen the bulk when we go to sew it. So always do your seams first and then work on your straight sides. Now take your ribbon piece and we're going to just fold it up a little bit so it's not going to be in the way. And you can mark the center of your little book sleeve if you want to, or you can just eyeball the center, which is kind of what I did, and just clip it in place and do the same for the other side. Now we're going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew along the entirety of it, and I like to back stitch over my straps a few times just to reinforce those. Now clip any of the excess ties that we have sticking out, and now we're going to grab our lining and find the hole, pull your project through, and grab a chopstick and gently poke out the corners. take your lining to the sewing machine and we're just going to close up that hole we have right there. Don't forget to back stitch at the beginning and end. Stuff your lining into your bag and we're going to just press the top part. Once you have the top pressed, we're going to do a top stitch around the edge. Don't forget to start with the back stitch and end with the back stitch because we don't want our threads coming out. You could make these any size, just measure your book and give yourself some seam allowance. These would be perfect for gifts or even for yourself. Let me know if you decide to make one. And don't forget to make it fun, not perfect.